If you have not read up to chapter 108 of Kakegurui, click off this video. I will be talking about current events in the manga, and as well, I'll talk about some things regarding Kakegurui Twin, but that will only be for a section of the video, which I'll provide a timestamp for. Once again, spoiler warning, I will be starting in 3, 2, 1. I'm not gonna lie, just last chapter, I wasn't too excited for what looked to be the next arc. I was kind of like Yumiko in the sense that after the Kirari versus Mary and Ririka gamble and the Soko flashback, my expectations were centered on Yumiko versus Kirari. This is the most anticipated gamble, one of which Yumiko has wanted since volume 1 of the series. It's basically Kakegurui's equivalent of Sukuna versus Gojo. However, considering the personalities of those two who would no doubt wager everything that they cherish, that gamble would mark the end of the series in my opinion. Which is for me to say, I understand why we haven't gotten it yet. Now, thanks to an amalgamation of various incidents, Yumiko breaking the house pet system, Sayaka putting the council in debt with her bought votes, and this freckled demon, Kirari's very life is on the line. We are introduced to a new group, Hyukawa Academy Guardian Society. This is an exclusive club that is made up of Hyukawa Academy alumni who are powerful figures in society, which basically finances, or better stated, protects the student body of Hyukawa Academy. And thanks to Kirari being in the hole for 300 billion yen, the Guardians have had enough of her and opt to force her to abolish the student council president role altogether. Although this may not sound like a big deal because Kirari is a third year and will graduate in some months anyways, this move would essentially shift major power to the Guardians that would allow them to control Japan with even more authority than they already have. Now, Kirari being Kirari declines the Guardians deal and instead wants to settle their dispute the Hyukawa Academy way, with a gamble. But this gamble isn't being spearheaded by Kirari herself. She is being represented by the new student council, personally picked by herself, that will gamble against 7 of the Guardians' supposed best. The new student council consists of Karin Mozu, Kaede Mayuda, Rin Obami, Terano Totobami, Runa Yomotsuki, Ririka Momobami, and Yumeko Jabami. Now, this group is interesting because with the exception of Karin, we can assume these choices for the new student council marks who Kirari believes to be the best current gamblers of Hyukawa Academy. I'm inclined to agree with Kirari's lineup, but there are some noticeable snubs, so to speak, at least in my eyes, but even then I know why they wouldn't be chosen. Those people are Midori, Sayaka, and Sumika. And I neglected to talk about Mary because she's already outright refused a request from Kirari to join the student council in chapter 16. Now, since we have 7 spots and I believe Mayuda is the worst gambler out of the 6, again, I'm not counting Karin, that would mean Mayuda is better than Midori. In my opinion, from what I saw from both of them, I think they are on par with each other, but Mayuda having a slight edge makes sense, especially considering he's much more sensible and wouldn't lose intentionally just to get dominated by a pretty lady with big boobs. Sayaka, on the other hand, has been noticeably MIA, which I'll talk more about, but I think the choice to not bring her along has nothing to do with her ability, because like Midori, I think she's on the same level as Mayuda. Sumika I hold in the highest regard. I definitely see her being better than Mayuda and on the same level as Rin, but I believe she isn't here because she left the school to go back to acting. So with all of this being stated, I think the new student council is the strongest gambling team currently available with the exception of Karin. But I'm interested to know how you guys feel about that. Talk to me in the comment section. The important question to ask isn't why the members of the new student council are here, but rather why would they stay here? Rin hates Kirari. Mayuda wanted to usurp Kirari. Terano has complicated feelings for Kirari. And Runa kinda doesn't care. Honestly, I don't have an answer to this question that I wholeheartedly believe in, but I'll guess anyways. For one, Yumiko's motivation would be obvious. She wants to gamble Kirari and gets to gamble while in a pursuit to save her. Mayuda might not care about Kirari herself, but given his ambition to be the president, he wants to protect the role at the very least. Terano has a strong sense of justice, so even if she has mixed feelings for Kirari, she wants to save her anyways. Karin doesn't really have any reason to do this, but given her less favorable position, money or a permanent student council seat could entice her. Runa, as always, is absolutely neutral, but she might do it just because she finds it fun, or maybe they'll offer the gremlin some lollipops or something. And Rin, I don't got anything there. Maybe he'll be the type to say something like, "No one can kill Kirari but me." Something edgy like that. Next place to go to is to talk about the freckled demon and her role in all of this, Kabura Suibami. Now, Kabura has stated that she is the intermediary in between the Guardians and the new student council, but the question is, why? As we see in chapter 107 and 108, the Guardians already have a representative in Yukihime Yasha, who is perfectly capable of negotiation herself. Well, considering Kabura's character, she is probably muscle. Kabura has stated that the Suibamis are a family of financiers in chapter 105, but that isn't specific. How do they make their money exactly? Yes, I'm pocket watching. Well, considering a couple of aspects of Kabura, like her cruel and sadistic nature, her family having their hands on a lot of money, and the crazy amount and look of her tattoos, it's likely that her family are Yakuza. Considering this theory, it would make sense that the Guardians would use the Yakuza as intermediaries because they have the power to enforce their will if communications break down. Just my idea on it. Now I can finally talk about what excites me the most about the revelations in this chapter. So at this point, if you have not read Kakegurui Twin, skip to the provided timestamp because I will be talking about it. So you have 10 seconds starting now.
We want freedom. We want justice. We want equality by any means necessary.
Since we know the Guardians are alumni of Yokawa Academy, this leaves a possibility that the third years of Kakegurui Twin could be amongst the 7 Guardians. These characters include Nadeshiko, Yukimi, Aoi, Sakura, Mikura, maybe, but best of all, my favorite twin character, Sachiko Juraku. Now, Homura Kawamoto could easily just have the 7 Guardian Gamblers be 7 new characters, obviously, but there is a golden opportunity to use his characters from the prequel and set up gambles that fans of Twin will especially love to see. There's so many matchups I like to see, like a Sachiko versus Mary rematch, or even Sachiko versus Ririka since she never got to gamble Kirari, or even Runa versus Aoi since they used to be good friends. Side note, y'all don't know how bad I wanted to see Runa gamble, cause she's someone I always respected as a gambler despite not seeing anything from her. I mean, being in the student council as a third year who isn't rattled by anything has to count for something. But now we'll find out if she really is as great as I believed her to be. We could even see the former student council president that Kirari beat in her first year to take over her seat. The possibilities for who the Guardians are and the potential gambles we'll get has me highly anticipated in the future chapters. Last point I want to make is Sayaka. Sayaka has been absent from these chapters, which is weird considering her woman got snatched up, but I think that just means that we'll see her in a very key moment in this cruise ship arc. Remember, Sayaka had a hand in Kirari's downfall by buying votes, so she likely feels extremely guilty, and knowing her, she'll definitely want to rectify her mistake. There is no way in hell Sayaka is going to do nothing while her waifu's life is on the line. It doesn't matter if she's a part of the new student council or not. My theory was that Yumeko might get into trouble at some point and Sayaka would be the one to help her. The reason for this is I feel it would be poetic for Sayaka to help the woman she hates to aid the woman she loves, especially since they both want to gamble each other too. It's like Sayaka would be saving Kirari and furthering her wish at the same time. And with that, I think that's all I want to say about this chapter. I've made a couple of Kakegurui videos and I always wanted to make something that had to do with the current events. And I think this event is definitely big enough to talk about and warranted its own video. This art should breed a lot of great gambles and hopefully characters from Kakegurui Twin. And actually wait, I got one more thing I gotta say. I know we're all supposed to hate Kabura, and while I may not really like her personality, y'all gotta admit, she kinda bad. I don't know, the freckles might be doing it for me. But besides that, I thank you for getting this far in this video. Hopefully I will make more videos like this in the future about Kakegurui, because as I said before, I always wanted to make videos about this specific series because when I first started this, there weren't a lot of positive videos on it, so I wanted to change the tide. But I am Satsuki the Savage. Like, comment, subscribe. I am out.
Life is just death, taking its time. Who gon' take it from my hand? Was lonely before friends. I'm holding my own hand and taking these bad shots, just hoping they go in. Everything folds in.